This program is supported by MyLabs, patient-ordered testing. San Juan Regional Medical Center is expanding its services to offer low-cost blood screenings year-round. Now offering walk-in convenience to get the blood tests you want when you want them. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, is available at the hospital's laboratory and the Outpatient Diagnostic Center on 30th Street in Farmington. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. .836 KSJE. You're taking a look at the time-lapse of our camera from our towers here at San Juan College. For those of you watching us live this morning on our YouTube channel, Facebook video will be posted soon after the program ends at 9 a.m., everybody, so stay tuned for that. And good morning to our regular listeners who are listening to us, of course, on KSJE 90.9 FM. Outside our studios right now in Farmington, partly cloudy skies, and that is what the forecast says for today. 58 for a high with a chance of showers and thunderstorms today. 43 overnight tonight, then partly sunny skies on Friday and Saturday, highs in the mid-60s and overnight lows near 40, maybe a chance of rain again on Sunday. Right now it's 46 outside our studios here at San Juan College. Winds are out of the east at 9 miles per hour. I'm Scott Michlin. My guest this morning on the radio from the Four Corners Storytelling Festival. Jenny Lee Ryan is here, program coordinator with the Farmington Public Library. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for moving it back to 8.
Yes.
That totally changed my festival plan in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Also, you brought with you Sonny Dooley, who is one of the storytellers at this year's festival. Good morning to you once again.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And from the weather, it looks like you got the better 2 days of the weekend.
We planned it that way.
For the festival, so
yeah.
It's going to be sunny and cool, which is what you want.
Exactly.
Listening to stories in tents.
Yes. So you can get all schnoodled up with your sweetie in the tents and stay warm.
What was that term?
Schnoodle.
Okay.
Schnoodled up.
I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Sonny, have you ever heard that before?
No.
Okay. Just
well,
checking.
now you have.
No, I have.
It's what we affectionately call a Jenny Lee-ism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's some interesting Jenny Lee things that...
Have you noticed?
Yes.
We've only spent like 5 minutes together this morning.
Yes.
Let's talk about those.
You don't even... No, we can't say those on the air.
Oh, my. All right. Well, we tried.
Those are not radio friendly.
I see. Well, interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
you're welcome.
How about that, everyone? Okay. Well, anywho, let's talk about the festival then.
Let's.
If we can talk about that on the radio.
Yes, we can.
All right. Fair enough. And
because it's family friendly.
It is a family friendly festival. It's also, and you've said this before on the radio.
I've said it every year for 13 years. I know what you're going for. It's not just for kids, and my recommendation is if there's someone you've been thinking about asking out on a date, now is the time to do it and take them to the Storytelling Festival. You can take them to ghost stories and do the whole, I'm scared and schnoodle up together. Or you can, come to the finale. But the great thing about the Storytelling Festival is you start thinking about your own stories. And that's what you want on a first date. You want to share your stories and get to know each other. So Storytelling Festival is a great first date or, 500th date. My husband and I, we have a lot of fun at the Storytelling Festival, and every year he's like, oh, that reminds me of something, that I probably didn't want to know from his childhood, but it does remind him of stories that I haven't heard yet in, 15 years of being together. So it's not just for kids, it's for adults, and the best thing for adults is it gets you starting to think about your own stories. So you talk about them with your family or your sweet baboo or your kids or, whoever it is. So
lots of terms this morning.
You're so welcome.
Lots.
And also, you don't have to have a date.
You
can
don't.
go by yourself to a storytelling
and maybe
festival.
find a date there.
No, don't even worry about that.
You just made it wrong.
This is just an event that you can go to and enjoy because every culture celebrates story.
That's true. Thank you, Sonny, for redirecting us back to the topic of the morning.
Exactly.
I appreciate that so very much. Because it really is intergenerational. I mean, we have heard stories that have been passed down by elders. We hear stories about young, about old. And when I look out in the audiences at the festival, there are people of all ages, and they're all enjoying the stories from the very young to the very old, right?
It's very, very true. And you have to think about, how we used to live to how we live now. And what's really interesting is that some of the most popular podcasts are storytelling podcasts. And so I guess it just rings true that every story is a validating, and, valuable story. Those are 3 V words.
There you are. That's true. And with your stories, then, talk to me a little bit about the stories that you share with your audiences. I mean, obviously, as we mentioned before, there are stories from the Navajo culture. There are stories that you have been telling for a long time, that the cultures, families, and individuals have been telling for a long time. But tell me a little bit more about the types of stories that you choose to bring with you to the festival like this.
Well, probably there's going to be a number of times that I will be telling in a variety of tents and school locations.
Right.
I don't have my schedule with me to look at, but
I'm sure there's a list somewhere.
Yeah, there's a list somewhere.
There's a spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Met
So
me.
I probably will be telling coyote stories, creation stories, origin stories, monster stories, and just with the understanding that the entire Navajo origin story takes 9 days and 9 nights, and usually 4 tellers to tell, and it actually is a healing ceremony. So from the Navajo perspective, storytelling just isn't entertaining, but it's also very instructive. It shows discipline, teaches discipline, and then it also is healing. And so the stories that I share will be a variety, and then also you interject in their personal stories. I grew up in a home that only spoke Navajo, and I didn't speak English till 3rd grade. And so I remember being in kindergarten and not understanding a single thing from my kindergarten teacher, and, she just sounded like she was speaking gibberish. And so my greatest teacher in kindergarten was my sense of observation. So I saw what kids were doing, and I would just kind of like follow along with what they were doing.
Right. Sure.
But I was so fascinated by my kindergarten teacher's enormously red lips. And so I started looking around, and I noticed all of the Anglo teachers at my elementary school had red lips, and I thought, oh, I wonder what clan they're from if their lips are perpetually red. And so apparently in kindergarten I also misbehaved because I had to stay in for recess. And so in that disciplining, you cannot go out for recess scenario, of course I had to have my head down on the table. And while I had my head down on the table, I observed my kindergarten teacher pull out her desk drawer and take out a tube of lipstick. I didn't know it was lipstick at the time. And then a little compact mirror, and she applied her lipstick. And I thought, oh my goodness, I know how her lips are red now. And so the rest of kindergarten year was, how do I commandeer that tube of lipstick?
I see. The planning started then.
Yes. And I never did commandeer that tube of lipstick because my cousin Nelson reminded me that we're not supposed to steal. And then he told me, he says, now, have you seen any Navajo women with red lips? And I said, no, I haven't. And so he says, well, you're not supposed to have red lips. And so it's like, okay. But of course, I took a red crayon Crayola home, melted it on the stovetop, and applied the red melted crayon to my lips.
Uh-huh.
Of course, then having forever a scar here on my lip
From that
episode. Finding. So I always say one of my life's goal, and this is a personal story, is to find that perfect shade of red lipstick. which I think eludes every woman in the world.
Interesting. Jenny Lee?
I agree.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
right.
So
I can't say anything more about that. I'll get in really big trouble.
we got Scott speechless.
Oh, that is very good. That is very
Speaking
good.
of goals.
Nice job. Nice job, both of you. That's true.
So such stories like that will take place,
Right.
and
Sure.
I'm sure all the other tellers will have just as fabulous stories to make you speechless.
I bet they will. They always do. And again, they're always great messages, great morals to the story. Some of them great learning opportunities if you
Yes.
have a youngster with you or a young person with you. And it's one of the great events. And I think folks maybe don't still understand what a storytelling festival is. I know, Jenny Lee, you come on every year to talk about it, and I think folks still think it's maybe just for kids or all bedtime stories or things like old nursery rhymes, and that's not it.
No, it's for all ages. You were talking about when you look out in the audience, it's all ages, it's all cultural backgrounds, it's all
Right.
economic backgrounds. There's something there for everyone. And yes, a lot of the stories have, kind of a moral to it. And some of them are just plain fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
You go to a stand-up comic, and you expect to laugh. Well, this is the same thing. You're just going to evoke a variety of emotions, not just laughter. Some
True.
will make you cry. Some will make you laugh. Some will make you feel better about your life. Some will make you, give you aspirations. It's a wide variety of emotions that will be evoked by these tales. So it's actually a better value than going to a stand-up comic.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
Because it's free.
And
it's free.
And it's
you
free.
always feel better.
You do.
You really
Yeah.
do. You
Right.
actually do feel better. And, like I said earlier, in our tradition of Diné storytelling, it's a healing. You actually do feel better leaving, having heard something that totally will vibrate within inside of you, I think.
And it's such a human connection. I mean, we all have stories. We're all connected by our stories. So this is just a great way to start into the holiday season with, connecting with your stories and your friends' stories and your family's stories and connect us all.
That's true. And you mentioned that, again, it does kind of spur some conversations in your household about past stories, family histories, and things like that, and that's what this can do too in other families as well.
Absolutely, yes. And that's, we do the primetime literacy program, and that's you read a story and then you discuss the story, and we invite the parents to come in, because what happens is reading those stories evokes the stories that the parents can tell their children, and the kids learn something new about their mom or dad that they've never really seen as a human before, their mom and dad. And that when you hear those stories, it humanizes your parents or the people that you're trying to understand. So
Very true. That's very true. Well, let's talk a little bit about some other events that are also coming up at the library besides the big storytelling festival, which again is this Friday and Saturday
at Berg Park in the Tota Theater. You can find the complete schedule on our website at infoway.org.
Right.
And when you go to our website, click on the calendar, you're going to see next Saturday, October 20th, is our Plein Air event. This is
Okay.
about the third or fourth year that we've done it. The plein air artists come out and they get a specified amount of time to paint, and they can paint recreations of scenes around the building. We do it in the fall because the cottonwoods are just starting to turn color. It goes so well with the paint colors of our building, and we've had so much success with it. The plein air paintings are now featured on our library cards.
Nice.
So if you're a plein air painter, you can come out and join us and paint. If you're not and you just want to see what it's all about, you can come out, watch the painters paint. Then the finished works of art will be on display in the rotunda till the end of the month, and you can actually buy one of the paintings, so you can pick your favorite and buy
Nice.
it.
Okay.
And then the next weekend,
Okay.
we're going to be doing our fry bread cook-off.
Nice.
Travis Holt Hamilton is coming back out.
Okay.
Instead of showing the movie More Than Fry Bread, we're going to show the first episode of his series called More Than Fry Bread, From the Ashes. So
It's now an episodic TV program.
I believe it's
program.
a web series. I'm not entirely clear on that. You can find the link on our website at infoway.org.
Apparently, video on the internet is the next big thing, Jenny Lee Ryan. And you're doing it right now.
Thursday night on the 25th will be...
Yes.
Thursday night on the 25th, we'll be watching the first episode of the series.
Okay.
And then on the 26th, Friday night, we're having our fry bread cook-off. So if you have a great fry bread recipe, enter the competition, go to our website, click on the event in the calendar. You can register to compete. And
What are the prizes?
cash and fame and glory, I believe.
Oh.
Nice.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Yes. And then if you just want to come out and eat fry bread, that's what I do.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
don't trust me in the kitchen. You can come out and vote for your favorite. So there's a People's Choice Award.
Wow.
And
Right.
then Scott will be one of the judges for the and like Travis Holt Hamilton. You watch
a
him.
whole,
He's like,
like,
he has like
style.
measuring and he like lifts it up. He has
Oh,
like
yeah.
this whole. It's insane
Yeah.
and delightful.
I've
It's
learned
insanely
from
delightful.
I've learned from the best, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So
But it's quite the process, and it's fun to see.
that's why they don't ask me to judge
No.
the fried bread because
true.
it's fried bread. Like I love it all.
Yeah. You would eat all the entries.
I
Try
do anyway.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, very good. Well, there's lots of events coming up. So again, infoway.org. Check the calendar, and folks can find out what's going on at the library.
Yes, and if you have any questions, find us out at the Storytelling Festival. You'll see me running around, but, just stop by the registration booth. We can tell you what else is going on at the library and then guide you to, maybe some tellers you would like to start with. If it's your first time, we'll kind of help you find your way. I would recommend starting with Sunny because she does do a lot of the traditional stories. And yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and like I said earlier, I started the process of interpreting stories because this is my language, this is my story, and so nothing is lost in translation. And one of the fascinating facts about me is when I learned to read in third grade, I asked my third grade teacher I needed a book that I can't finish that summer. So she handed me a dictionary.
Ah,
And
okay.
so I read the dictionary all
Nice.
the way up to ninth grade. I made it all the way up to the letter M.
Wow.
Wow.
Good for you. See?
And so
That's great.
having that kind of vocabulary really does help in interpreting Navajo stories into English because many times it's only one Navajo word that conveys such a rich context. And you usually need at least 15 English words to convey one Navajo word.
Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing some of your stories because
Oh,
I think
thank
it's
you.
going to be great to learn and get some of that insight into the language
Yeah.
because it's so beautiful and such a great thing to learn about living here where we do. So
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you both for coming in this morning. We are out of time. Sorry.
Thank you.
Eh, I'll be back tomorrow.
You'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not out of time. I got
You're not.
more
You'll
time
be-
tomorrow.
You'll
yeah.
be back tomorrow. And you're bringing with you Andy
Offit Irwin.
Irwin tomorrow.
He has been in here before, and
Yes,
you
but
love
not in
him.
here. He hasn't been in here.
No.
This will be all new. I don't know if
Yeah.
the studio can contain Andy Offit Irwin.
No, I said that was a little treat to myself because I start to wear down during the festival. So Andy, we're just going to wind him up and let him go.
Yeah, that'll work. So. Sunny Dooley, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Pleasure
I enjoyed
meeting you.
being here.
Good.
Yes,
thank
thank
you.
you.
We'll enjoy your stories. We'll see you at the festival.
Thank you.
And Jaylee Ryan, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.
All right, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. right here on KSJE. Everyone, back with more in just a moment. The time is 8:54.